Let's welcome to the program Republican Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman Bacon, appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
So Democrats are really turning up their grassroots movements, as we're mentioning, with their efforts around these rallies and town halls. It comes as favorability for the Democratic Party is seeing its lowest levels in decades. Are Republicans worried, though, that they're going to be losing some ground with the everyday American as this grassroots efforts from Democrats picks up speed?
I think it's hit and miss. There's a lot of things that's going to be advantageous for the Republicans. The border's at a 25-year best. For the lowest number of illegal people coming across the border. I think it was way beyond time to go after the Houthis in Yemen who stopped shipping in the Red Sea. That could go on. There's a lot of good stuff going on. But we also have to be wary of some of these DOGE cuts where people are fired and then they're rehired 2 or 3 days later when they realize there's a mistake. My recommendation to the administration is, do the audit. Let's know what bad spending is going on or what wasteful spending is. But we should be more careful before we fire people and know that it's actually doing the right thing. And I feel like some of these firings have been rash. And I would agree, like when Bernie Sanders talks about cuts in the staff of the Social Security Administration, I know firsthand my mother-in-law passed away about a month ago, and it's taken us over a month to convey to the Social Security Administration that my mother-in-law passed away. And that just gives you, it shouldn't be that hard to work with our bureaucracies. And I don't think that they're above having some people removed, but let's make sure that the average citizen can do business with our bureaucracies and get things done.
Okay, interesting. If we can go back to really the rebuilding of the Democratic Party, is this something that Republicans really need to be paying attention to? I mean, they are packing out arenas right now. It's not an election year.
Well, they're packing out people that didn't vote for us to begin with, by and large. Indivisible and MoveOn.org is organizing a lot of this stuff. They are in our district anyway. So they are activating the left-wing base. I got to tell you, in Nebraska, the Nebraska Democratic Party brought out Bernie Sanders, the most liberal senator in the Senate, and then brought out Tim Walz, the most liberal governor. I don't think that works. And as you mentioned, Democrats are at an all-time low in favorable ratings right now, 30%, right? And so I don't think the far-left message is there. I do think people want a reasonable debate. I think yelling and screaming, they look really dumb. I mean, they looked really bad in the State of the Union address where they wouldn't even stand for a young teenage boy that's fighting cancer or a widow. And so, but we should have a reasonable conversation. There are reasons to debate on some of these cuts that the DOGE is making. I disagree with the president on the tone that he has with Ukraine right now. I think we can have a reasonable debate and do what's best for our country. But the yelling and screaming, I think it just will push more people to the Republican Party.
All right. Well, share with our viewers what your stance is on Ukraine and how it differs from the president.
Well, for starters, we both want peace, and I want a just peace. My concern with the president has been he couldn't identify who's really at fault for this invasion, or that Zelensky's the dictator. We know it's Putin. I just want more moral clarity, and I want us to be on the side of the democracy, the side of freedom, the side of the victim. And we got to know Putin's a bad guy. And I don't get that feeling from him and his team when they talk about Putin and the Russians. I mean, for God's sake, they kidnapped 20,000 children, Ukrainian children, dispersed them throughout Russia, right? They're bombing cities. The day after they had the negotiations, Putin, right after those, the energy plants that were trying to get a ceasefire on. So I just want more moral clarity, and I want Ukraine to have peace, but a just peace.
And look, even this issue aside, I think it's refreshing for Americans to see politicians not always sticking together 100% and just saying what they truly believe and what's in their heart. So I appreciate you doing that. Let's turn our attention now to Elon Musk's visit to the Pentagon. President Trump strongly pushing back against a New York Times report that Musk was set to get a briefing on supposed war plans with China. Musk now vowing to find suspected leakers and prosecute them. So, Congressman, what do you make of that report? And would it be appropriate for Musk to be briefed on these kinds of things, particularly, given the potential conflicts of interest?
Well, it's not appropriate for starters. However, the president denies that he was given this material. So if the report is true, I think it's wrong. But the president says it's not true. So that's where we're at with that. I don't mind having Elon Musk. He has been hired by the president to do an audit of the whole federal government. We should welcome that. We should welcome a spotlight where money is being spent and where potential wasteful spending has gone. And like, I'll just take USAID, for example. It was crazy that we were spending on transgender programs in Guatemala or atheism programs in Nepal. However, USAID was doing great work with AIDS, with PEPFAR, was doing great work on Ebola, fighting Ebola. So I just don't want us to throw out the baby with the bathwater. I would say the same thing with the Pentagon. There's some areas that if we can find areas of waste and redirect that money to buying weapons and taking care of our troops, I'm all for it.
Yeah, trim the fat where we can. You just don't want to cut any critical programs, which is a real concern for Americans, too. Your colleague, Nebraska Republican Mike Flood, has been dealing with some fiery town halls. Let's take a look at that. I'll let you react. So, Congressman, you've been one of the targets in a DNC billboard campaign as well, calling Republicans cowards for not holding in-person town halls. It's a move that was instructed by Republican House leadership, I understand. So now I do understand also that you do have a telephone town hall scheduled for next week. But what's your reaction to some of this outrage that we're seeing, and how do you expect your town hall to go?
Well, first of all, I see the MoveOn.org messages in our district. People forward it to us. I have friends that are on there just to see what they're doing. And so there's a lot of this is organized, again, by MoveOn.org and the Indivisible guys. And, I guess I got mixed feelings. I think when people see the town hall that Mike Flood had, he's a great friend of mine, I think it actually hurts them because the middle America doesn't like that behavior. And I think it works against the Democrat Party. So almost because of that, I thought about having one just to put a spotlight on their behavior. But when I do a teletown hall, I get 15 times the people involved. The minimum I've ever had is 6,000 people on a teletown hall, and the most I ever get in a person town hall is 300 or 400. So you get a lot more people involved. It's a lot more civil. When you have parents saying we can't even bring our kids to a town hall, there's a problem. And so I believe I get more done in a teletown hall. I cover more material, and I put on the hard questions. I want to answer or address the hard questions, and I'm very candid. I mean, I'm not a party first guy. I tell people I'm a Christian first. I'm an American. Then I'm a Republican, and I'm going to try to do what's right. And so, but I think teletown halls, you get more bang for the buck. More people get to participate. It's more civil. You get to cover so much more material. And so I think they actually are better in the end.
Yeah, look, technology almost always makes things more accessible. The fact that you say it makes it more civil is kind of surprising when they don't even have their faces out there. But yeah, amazing that you're going to get hopefully a big crowd so you can talk to them and share what's going on in your state. Congressman Don Bacon, appreciate you being here. Thank you.